Hey, howdy, hey, everybody. Happy Saturday and welcome to Disney Night Live. How's it going?
All right.
How's it going, everybody?
Everything's
Go ahead, Don.
thumbs up.
Thumbs up, thumbs to go. Aaron, I think you might be muted, my friend.
I
Yep. There you go.
Hello.
Hi, Aaron.
Hi.
What's
Hi,
up?
Aaron.
What's up, everybody?
It's a beautiful day here in the neighborhood.
I bet. Not so much here in New Jersey. It got cold again today, and windy.
I wish.
So, you wish it was cold and windy? I'll
Yes.
trade with you.
Well, it was spectacular in Charlotte today.
Yeah, I bet. Not like here.
Yeah, I'm also in Charlotte, so yeah, it was good. It was good.
So
Good for y'all.
today was good weather as opposed to last Monday where it was raining on us while we were at Disney.
Oh, that's right. Yes. I
But
saw
again,
that.
A rainy day at Disney is still a day at Disney.
That is absolutely correct.
That's
I'll
what you
take
said.
it. Oh, I see a message coming through. What's this? Morgan, is that you messaging
Yep.
me? Oh.
No, I wasn't messaging you. I'm
Oh.
sharing, so you're getting tagged.
Oh, cool. Thanks for sharing. Sharing's caring, everybody. We're live, Disney Night Live. We're all over social media. Sometimes when it works right, please share us out. Hearts to everybody. Thumbs up. And yeah, that's a really cool heart.
Thanks. That's like the Gen Z one or the new one, but I've done that before them. So
Yeah. That's
I gotta
when
say
you're
about
my
that.
age, it's hard to do something like that with arthritis. You just go with the.
same. When the joints hurt, it's not happening.
That's right. I'd like to welcome everybody in who is tuning in tonight. Again, we're Disney Night Live. We're a live stream. We are presented by the Facebook group Now That's Disney. And we've got Disney Don. We've got Animal Kingdom Aaron. We've got Jim. And we've got Morgan from not only Disney Nerds, but Dream Finding Parks. And I'm just David. That's me. I'm just the
You're
guy.
David of Now That's Disney.
I'm NTD David. That's right. Thanks for reminding me.
NTD.
NTD. That's what NTD said. NTD. Now that's Disney. DNL. Disney Night Live.
DNLT NTD.
NTD. That's it. That's us. And together we make Disney Night Live. We've got Mike and Becky, who are also co-hosts. They're off tonight. They're heading to Disney World tomorrow. So want to wish them a safe trip.
How long are they here? I could easily ask them, but
I think I'm thinking 7-ish days.
okay, so I
6 or
might be able to
7-ish.
see them when I get
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds
And my coworker, my colleague, who works in Minnesota is heading there soon with his family and is going to be going to Animal Kingdom. So I said, let me know what day and make sure you're taking a show. And you got to see, the birds. You got to see Aaron if you can.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Come say hi from out there.
Come say, hey, howdy, hey. That's what I say. Hey, howdy, hey. That's my
Yep.
thing. So tonight we have, again, fun topic. This kind of spawned from last week's conversation. Do you stay in the Disney bubble or do you venture outside of the Disney bubble? So we thought, hey, let's get into it this weekend and talk about the bubble, the great Disney bubble debate. But we can't do that before we talk about who? Anyone know?
D Magic World.
DMagicWorld.com. That's right. Our friends,
I
our
thought it
sponsor.
was Dr. Allen myself, but
No. I don't even know who that guy is anymore. That guy is too cool for school. DMagicWorld.com is a 24/7 streaming Disney music station, playing 2 different stations: parks music, Disney movie music, and just giving it to you 24/7. Man, there's no let up. If you like Disney, it's there for you. Hello to I see a couple people joining on Instagram Live. Hello to you, Cold and Windy here too. That's SB24E, and I see Dream Finding Parks. That's Morgan.
Yep.
So please check out our friends over at D Magic World and let them know that we sent you. Let them know you heard about them through us and that we share the love of Disney music and D Magic World. Also, get in there on that request page and let them know what you want to hear, because that's a lot of fun to be part of that magic. And if you're not part of the Now That's Disney Facebook group, go to the tab up top, click on it, join, and you can get more fun, more Disney fun. So, DMagicWorld.com. Little shameless plugs here, too. I put out last week's live stream as our podcast, so please make sure you also subscribe to the Disney Night Live podcast. We are everywhere that they can be found. Last week's episode was our co-host Mike and Becky's upcoming trip, them discussing their plans and what they have in store. And so, yeah, please. Again, if you find Now That's Disney or Disney Night Live on social media, subscribe, like, love, comment. I want your feedback. I want to know what you think. And we hope you enjoy it. So, yeah, that's what I got before we talk about our great Disney bubble debate.
Great Disney bubble. GDB.
Of 2025, it could be the annual debate.
Yeah, this debate, though, this has been raging for a long time, and it's about time somebody broke it down, I think.
Raging fire.
It has been, yes.
Just leave it to me.
Yeah. I missed you, Aaron.
I know, I missed you guys too.
Thanks. He's
For
been
all
very
nicknames
busy.
and anagrams, please refer to Aaron and his
Yes. Yes. He is the man that will keep those things coming. All the breakdowns of what everything means.
creative genius.
He is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
All
right, we got a debate to talk about.
We got a debate to talk about. So again, I'm not a Florida Disney local. I don't live near any Disney locations. And so for me, it's really simple. When we go to Disney World, we go to Disney World, right? We haven't visited any other Disney locations, but when we go, we stay in the Disney bubble. And for people who don't know what the bubble is, it means once you get from your destination to that Disney area, that Disney property, you don't leave it. That's what you do the whole time. You're not going outside of Disney to eat. You're not going outside of Disney to sightsee, shop, or anything. You're doing Disney and being immersed in it. So me and my family were Disney bubble guppies. So, but we have a good mixture of people that have been going to Disney or live near Disney and work at Disney. So I figured maybe we can all kind of share our opinion, whether we are Disney bubble people, and if we're not, what do we do outside the bubble? Sound like a plan?
I like it.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Cool.
Like
do we want to maybe do a round robin and just say, are we bubble people or not?
Yeah, I think that's a good way to start.
Yeah, let's start. Who'd like to go first? Show of hands. Aaron's going to go first.
Yep.
Thank you, Aaron.
Me.
Alphabetically.
I think now. So like if I, being here, can go stay on property and do parks, which I have the ability to, but if I'm there, I am leaving to go do other things and or eat other places.
Right.
Because I have so many favorite restaurants that I'll speak about probably later on in this show, but that are nearby where I live, right by the parks, that I enjoy much more than being on property eating or staying on property the whole time. So I am outside the bubble guppy.
So but Aaron works at Animal Kingdom and
Therefore,
lives
is a local.
and is right. He's as local basically as you can get, unless you are living in one of the parks. And not only, but so he lives close, but so maybe. Do you think that changes your bubble? Like, okay, you lived in a different state. You traveled to Disney. Would you only stay in the bubble, or you would still want to venture out of it?
In the past, I've stayed in the bubble.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
the trips past. I think as I grew older, because, and you want to see new places. So if I came to Orlando just to Disney, I would get to the point where I'm like, let's go see other things. So then I would venture out. But in the beginning, I was a bubbler.
Okay.
Just
so
like the ones you buy in the parks.
Yeah.
Right. You've converted over. So, yeah. All right. I got you.
Which, by the way, I like bubble guppy as the term,
Yeah.
Bubble guppy.
Yeah.
Colton used to watch Bubble Guppies. I don't know if anybody has young kids out there.
I had friends who did the tour.
The bubble, yeah. So the Bubble Guppies was on in our house. Is that different than the cartoon, the tour? Or
no, it's the same thing. They just dress up as the cartoon characters.
I'm thinking like a Finding Nemo show type
kind
thing,
of
like
cool.
on tour.
They're like full thing. It's one of those weird kid shows that they're like, this is easy to put on because kids are going to watch it.
Yeah. Jim, did the kids watch the Bubble Guppies?
No, not that one. But they watch pretty much everything else.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful to be past that.
Yeah, I hear you. But, they kind of stick with you when your kids are older, and then you think back of what they used to watch. That's one of the ones that sticks out. And
we were having a dinner conversation the other day, and everyone at the table agreed how much we hated Caillou.
Oh my gosh! I was talking about Caillou the other day.
Nobody likes Caillou.
Yeah. Even my kids are like, we watched that. It's horrible. I'm like,
yeah, Colton watched it, and now he's like ranks on him.
Yeah. It's awful.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's Caillou?
The most annoying child cartoon ever. The kid just whines for like 30 minutes.
He whines. He has got a high, squeaky pitch voice. He wears the same shirt in every second of every episode.
Throws fits.
And throws fits. Yeah. He's always like bothered by his little, what's he got, a little sister? Yeah. Oh, Katie says they did watch the Bubble Guppies. Yeah.
Okay, so that's my wife. So there we go.
Right. I hear
we've blocked it out. Yeah.
So I specifically remember from the Bubble Guppies, there was a character, I think it was Flounder or something, but he would sing about lunch, and so we would sing that song in the house, like when it was lunch, like try to get Colton interested for lunch, but
didn't work.
So you're either a Disney Bubble Guppy or you're not. Jim, why don't you tell us about you? Are you a bubbler?
Okay, so we're sort of split, right? So for many years we lived near you in the Northeast in central New Jersey, and we would travel down, and we were very much in the bubble when it was even more bubbly than it is now, right? So we would come down, tag the bags, Magical Express, things show up, stay completely Disney transportation everywhere, resort airline check-in, which we used to love when they had that, where you could then check your bags and send them back. It was fantastic. Yeah. It was like just so good. And then you could go out and explore the parks for a day, and then go to the airport, and your bags would just show up, and you only had to touch them when you're back. And it was great. We stayed, and the kids were younger too, and that was easier, I think, when Dan, my older son, who's disabled, that was somewhat easier when he was smaller, right? And then later on, we were traveling with the wheelchair, and that made it a little bit harder. Disney transportation was still good with that, even the Magical Express to a degree, but it did seem to deteriorate over the years. And as he got more aware of that, he didn't like that so much. So then we moved to North Carolina. We began to drive down, right? From 2019, and that changed it quite a bit for us, right? So now we've got our own car, and we're planning our ways out, and it kind of broke the immersion a little bit. it was good. I mean, it's changed a lot. I mean, like one of our favorite things to do is to hit Buc-ee's on the way down. Everybody loves Buc-ee's. Buc-ee's is just fantastic. And and you get down there, and so we still eat on property because there's a lot of restaurants we like to eat in, but there's the whole seeing even just the periphery, like the area right behind Animal Kingdom Lodge. If you drive back behind Animal Kingdom Lodge, it's like a whole nother world once you get into the local areas. Go to the Publix back there. Is that where you live, Aaron? Back around?
Yes, I live back.
Okay. Even that little strip there is very like just touristy, kitschy, over the top, right? All those like. And then a lot of chain restaurants, but it's like right behind Animal Kingdom Lodge. But unless you drive back there, you wouldn't even know, right? And you go down through like that cast member area. There's a whole bunch of cast buildings and stuff. You drive down back and behind this like that one little road, and then you're back there, and it's really different, right? Or outside of I was making notes earlier, Bay Lake Tower, right? So if you're staying at Bay Lake Tower, David, and you come out and you make a right. You drive through essentially a backstage area, which technically they don't want you to drive through, but legally you can. Yep. And you drive back, and there's cast member parking back there, and there's the backside of what is now Tron being built back there. And it's real different, kind of industrial, and you just get this, real backstage feel. So when you get off property, get gas or driving around. So there's a lot of that, and driving to and from the parks and parking and dealing with that. It changes the feel and the immersion a bit. Getting off Disney transportation. For me, at least when we go, I try to find, if we're going to stay somewhere, I want to stay somewhere where at least I can drive only half the time. So if I can be on a monorail or I can be on a Skyliner, then I'm only driving to 2 out of the 4 parks. And that makes it a little bit easier on me.
True. Yeah.
So there's that. Also, I used to travel to Orlando a lot for conferences over the years, so I'd go without the family. So I'm very familiar with staying in the Orlando World Center Marriott, the Gaylord Palms, Cabana Bay at Universal. These are places where they would book us in for whatever reason, and various conferences, either Microsoft or BlackBerry, things we did over the years. And then we'd get out to other things. They'd actually had an interesting view of Disney where I've been to private events that like vendors would book or whatever. So that's kind of an interesting thing. Like years ago, Sprint used to be a provider in the US for telecommunications. They're gone now, got gobbled up, right? But they did a thing where they took us to Epcot to have dinner at what was then Monster Paul. And but they took us in the back way in a bus, right? And then we came through, and then there was like, cocktail out front, and then we had dinner, and there's fireworks and this thing. And then, so, you get to see them in the backstage areas, but it breaks the immersion a little bit, right? So I kind of get that view of it.
Yeah. I want to try Monsieur Paul.
Which is now, I guess, Chefs de France. Is that what they call it upstairs now?
No, they're actually still 2 restaurants.
It's
what they call it upstairs.
Yeah, in Monsieur Paul.
Yeah. It's upstairs on the back side.
Right. Yeah, that was the room we went upstairs. That was.
Yeah. Cool. Real quick, SB24E says, I am not a bubble guppy. I love to venture out. And T9, hello T9, she says, wasn't Disney great back in the day, like 10 years ago? Yes.
That's funny.
Yeah, it was. All right, Morgan, why don't you go, and then we'll get to Don. Not last Disney, Don, just pulling up the rear. So we'll go with Morgan.
All right. Well, I don't live locally. I have lived locally. I did the Disney College program, so I have been a cast member. I grew up going to Disney, driving, rarely flying, either with my grandparents from Fort Lauderdale or from here in North Carolina. So I'm used to driving more than flying. I didn't stay in the bubble until I was an adult. And the basic reason why is we own a timeshare that's not Disney. So I stay in the bubble, and sometimes I stay out, and sometimes I do a split stay where I'm in and out.
So you're part bubble.
I'm half guppy, I'm half whatever we're going to term the non-bubble. For me, it really depends on what I'm doing. If I'm more park centric for that trip, I want to stay in the bubble. If I'm going to do Disney and Universal or other things or see friends or whatever, I might, stay in a timeshare. And also if I want to save some money, I might stay in the timeshare.
Yeah, that too. Right.
So yeah, for me, it depends on what my trip purpose is. So I'm a half and halfer.
Okay, half and half bubble guppy.
Yeah.
You know what else too? Before we get to Don, I'd like to know anybody out there who's watching. Comment how do you get to your Disney destination? Are you driving? You flying? How do you get there? We fly. We're in New Jersey, so we just don't want to lose that much time on the front and back end of our trip. No, maybe that's me. I want to absorb every second of my Disney trip in the Disney bubble, and I drive in a lot in New Jersey traffic, so I also don't want to be in the car that long. But I digress. Don, bubble, not bubble, local. Morgan's a local base kind of former local, and Don's a.
I live outside of the bubble. Like I said, I'm an hour and 45 minutes from Disney. When my wife and when I first started going to Disney, we were total bubble people because we fly down, get to either before they had the Magical Express, we would have to find some kind of, we would get on a bus, come to Disney. I can't remember what the same people that run the Magical Express ran a regular bus that went. I can't remember it.
Mears?
Mears?
Mears, yeah. Mears, they had, it was the same thing as they did with Magical Express, except it wasn't, it didn't have Disney plastered all over it. So then in 2015, my wife and I moved down here to be closer to her mother. And we bought a house, like I said, an hour and 45 minutes away. So I am outside the bubble. And once or twice a year, we use our vacation points or because of DVC members. And we will stay in the bubble. Otherwise, I'm day tripping in. And I'm also traveling around this area looking at what's up here on the Nature Coast.
Nice.
Nature.
Yeah. So the nature. T9 says she flies. She's not adding a day and a half each way. SB24E says fly as well. Yeah. So we fly. Now Jim and his family, they drive.
We do now.
Can pretty much walk. Oh,
right. No matter how you get there, you get there. I mean, and there's a lot of Disney destinations. I think a lot of us are really talking about Disney World, but obviously you can't drive to Disneyland Paris, right? Unless you live. Well, you're a local. Hello. But that's a whole different local.
Yeah, that's it. Bonjour.
Yeah. Hello.
Marie, the baguettes.
The baguettes. Yeah, exactly. So, my only experience again is Walt Disney World. But
also,
I hope to
like
venture.
Flying and driving and also debate too, like which one, there's pros and cons.
Yeah.
Either way, there's one thing I love about going to any Disney park is there's no right or wrong way to get there. There's no right or wrong way to stay. There's no right or wrong way to enjoy your vacation.
However you do, you do.
Yeah, you do how you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, and you know what? Unless we get a super, and I'm talking super early morning flight out of New Jersey, by the time we get on a plane, get into Orlando, get our stuff, get to the resort, unpack and stuff, it's a pretty long day, although the flight is like just under 3 hours,
Yeah.
Because I know it well, David, and you're telling me you've got to leave enough time and you're at the airport early enough. When you tack it all together, it probably takes you between 8 and 10 hours from the door to the resort.
Yeah.
The flip side of that is now living down here, a little further in the south, it's the same amount of time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
So we'll blow out of here probably, and the kids are ready to go. So I mean, we'll try to get out of here and get out of the Charlotte area prior to 6 a.m. So we'll get out, so that we can drive down and get through Columbia before there's any kind of like rush hour traffic if we're going on a weekday or whatever. And we'll get down there by like 4 o'clock in the afternoon with plenty of stops, like a Bucky stop and some other stuff. And before we know it, it's 4 o'clock and we're rolling into the resort. And so it's the same, right? Only now we've got our car. Yeah. But, but you're not on anybody else's schedule, which is good.
And saving a buttload of money.
Yeah, I mean, for us, it's 5 or 6. So
Mhm.
yeah, for plane tickets, it's much cheaper to drive. Yeah.
Even for me, there's a lot of times I used to go down by myself. I used to drive from North Carolina, from here in the Charlotte area, by myself. And it was cheaper for me to drive than to fly. The only time that it's usually a little bit cheaper is like if you do Spirit. We have Allegiant here that flies out of the regional airport, but Allegiant flies into Stanford, not Orlando airport. So then you've got to worry about.
It does.
They have 2 flights into Orlando and to MCO.
Oh, they do.
Oh, they do?
That must have changed.
But it's like twice a week.
Yeah.
Right.
And if they cancel it, then what? If they cancel that flight, you don't have another rebooking possibility. You're stuck.
You got to wait till the next flight that week.
Yeah.
Well,
I just learned about that the other day.
Well, I've flown Allegiant to Sanford when I lived in Orlando because I came up here to visit my parents, and I think it's like 45 minutes drive on the toll roads to get to Disney from the Sanford airport. So you've got to figure out transportation. But you got to figure out transportation. You know, do you Uber that cost, or do you have a friend that you say, hey, can you come get me in Sanford?
Right.
But now you've also got Frontier, like I think Frontier and Spirit are the same. They're all merging, but there's discount flights now into MCO that I've done too. And from here, it's only an hour and a half flight.
Yeah.
But you do 2 hours before the flight takes off. You're supposed to be at the airport, so 4 or 5 hours, and
you're tacking it on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
if you don't have TSA pre, the airport security here can be a little crazy.
But MCO is definitely worse for TSA.
Yeah.
MCO? Okay.
Yeah.
If you're just tuning into Disney Night Live, again, we're live. We're talking about the great Disney bubble debate. Are you bubble or are you no bubble? So maybe let's talk about some of the things that you can do outside of the Disney bubble. This show is focused really around Disney, and a lot of it is around Disney World and what you can do there and what we've done and what's going on in news. Let's talk about some things outside of the bubble. So
pop the bubble.
Yeah, let's break the bubble. Right.
Aaron did it better.
Hi, Caitlin. Yeah, way better. I'm no longer popping bubbles live on this show. It's terrible. Aaron popped my bubble. I'm very upset about it. So let's chat about some things to do. What is there to do? Obviously, you could eat, you could sightsee. There's a lot of beautiful areas, around all these locations. Let's show. Who wants to go first?
Well, I have a question. How many
Tell me.
people in our audience, or how many of our how many of you actually had the chance to shoot an automatic weapon?
I've never shot any kind of.
Have you ever wondered what it was like to shoot an automatic weapon?
I suppose.
I know Dave. No.
Yeah.
Not unless I need to.
I mean, so
I could change.
Right down on International Drive, there's a place called Machine Gun USA. For a fee, you can go there and have that experience. Now,
why do I feel like in Florida, like the commercial comes on? Yeah, like the commercial comes on. It's like Machine Gun USA, and whoever's doing that commercial, it's like one of those '80s commercials, but it's still happening.
They don't advertise on TV, or I haven't ever heard them. But as you're driving down the interstate, there's billboards, Machine Gun USA.
With holes in them.
They are.
Yeah, they're right there.
There's one 5 minutes from my house.
Yeah. That's it's something, again, being in New Jersey, you're not going to see around here, right?
No.
So this is something that's focused in that area, and but if you ever want, and Don was telling me earlier before the show, there is somewhere nearby too that you can drive a tank.
Yeah, in Orlando.
Oh, yeah.
Want the experience of driving a tank?
I would like to try to drive a tank. That's pretty cool.
You want to crush a car? Go ahead, get in the tank.
Yeah.
They'll teach you how to do it, and you drive over top of a car, and you're good.
Right.
I do want to just let you guys know Machine Gun USA is permanently closed.
No. It's closed? You're kidding me.
I just looked it up because I remembered it being on 192, so I just was like,
That's the one that I'm talking about.
Okay. Yeah. I was just like, wait, does it have?
I may have got the road wrong. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And their website.
Don't go there.
Permanently closed.
Oh, okay. Well, take that off the list.
Yeah, so it went the same way as the Holy Land experience.
Seriously, what else?
I forgot about Holy Land.
My kids were disappointed they tore that down only because they loved to point at it as we drove by. They were like, "Oh,
I did too. I loved pointing it out because my grandfather, when he was still alive and took us there as kids,
really
always threatened to take us there, and we're like, no, we want to go to Disney World, not Holy Land.
Not Holy Land.
And when I did the college program in 2010, and I moved to Orlando, like at an apartment on the same road as Holy Land. So I used to
on 4, isn't it? It was on 4.
On Kirk, like right off of Kirkman, which is close to Universal.
Yeah.
But yeah, now it's at the in ER or something like.
Yeah, and then there's like a car place. They left 2 of the big palm trees last year. So they looked like they left as a giant, oversized palms in the front, but other than that, it was like flattened.
That's one thing kind of funny. Driving in, you kind of have these landmarks. Like I've been driving in by myself since 2010. So, 15 years of driving down there as an adult, you have the landmarks. And Holy Land was always a landmark.
It was.
Yeah.
Because you have the eyesore before on I-4.
I've heard of that, the eyesore.
Which was, I don't even know the backstory, but it's like this big glass building in Altamont Springs, Holy Land.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Universal.
The building you're talking about is like hideous architecture, right? Like the top of it comes over like this.
It's like a wave.
Yeah, it's like, it's you like look at it and you're like, somebody failed architecture school.
Yeah. Well,
and they built this.
I think it's done now though. Like I think the governor or somebody actually got on the people that owned it and like, come on guys, like get this built or we're gonna find you or something.
So these are things not to go to anymore.
Yeah.
True.
What are you going to tell me next? Is that the Gatorland is closed?
Yeah, I was just going to say, don't tell me Gatorland closed, where you could feed
don't worry.
a chicken to gators.
Okay, I want to do a full disclosure on Gatorland because I took my boyfriend there last August. So my boyfriend loves animals. He calls gators swamp puppies. Of course, I went to Gatorland as a kid because that was like a touristy thing, and like that's last time I gone. I knew it was touristy. I didn't tell him a lot. I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna go show him some gators.
Right.
He thought it was like a nature preserve type of situation, and I'm like, no, sorry, this is very touristy, very gimmicky.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great. Like they do conservation. Like it's not a bad place. Like I don't think, like I don't want to come off like, oh, they just mistreat the gators and the animals there because they don't.
Right, like Joe Dirt sticking his head inside of it. Gator's mouth.
You can feed the gators their chickens and stuff like that, but it's very, it's a classic Orlando tourist trap kind of thing.
That's a weird thing about the Gaylord Palms Hotel. They have gators in the lobby, and like little ones, but I mean, it's still reasonable size. So you wouldn't want to like pet them, and feed the gators in the the hotel lobby, which is pretty strange.
Wow. I did not know that either.
Up by Wildwood on the way north, there's still a roadside attraction that you can buy baby gators.
Oh my goodness!
Don't know why you would want to, but okay.
Yeah, what happens when they get like big?
That's
put them in the New York sewer.
You can actually
you put them in the sewer system and they'll be okay.
The sewer system in New York.
Yeah.
Someone call FWC.
Seriously.
I know I've seen like on the drive down on 95 like videos where you can see baby gators at the Florida Citrus Centers.
Right.
Those used to be like all over the place, and of course they've gone away, over time. But I'm surprised some places are still selling them.
Can't even get a turtle in New Jersey. Never buy a gator in Florida.
Aaron said he had restaurants that were not on property that he thought were particular.
Yeah, I was just going to ask. Yeah, let's talk about like dining.
So many. Okay. in this surrounding area, so not either here like on 192 where I live and where Jim has talked about, but you have like your general commercialized food items like Olive Garden, Texas Roadhouse, things like that. But they have, which I think there's one in New Jersey, Lazy Dog. There's another one in South Florida, but it's like a scratch kitchen. Very, very good. Full bar, in-house beers, and domestics as well. That's really good. That I really like. Lazy Dog. And then there is
Lazy Dog like the brewing company?
They have their own beers, but I don't know if they sell them anywhere, which I wouldn't be surprised.
So Googling that right now.
Please do.
I know. I was just Googling something.
They have
too,
like a beer club, and you can buy their beers in cans, so it could definitely be possible. But the atmosphere at that place is kind of like a woodsy cabin feel.
Cute. Yeah.
They have a nice outside area with a pit. So especially when it's cold the 2 days of the year here in Florida,
right.
It's a nice place to sit out. And the bar is inside and outside. They have like a big garage door that opens so they can still serve you and sit outside. So that's really good. That. I like to go there too. Yeah. Great happy hour as well.
I've seen this place. Yes, I've been wondering about this place.
It's so good. I have not had, the menu is loaded, so if you get overwhelmed by reading a lot or seeing a lot of words, like that is a disclaimer that you're like, there's a lot of options, but nothing is bad that I have had yet. So try it out. New York Beer Project, there is 3 of them. The others are New York, and we only have one.
Okay.
Yeah, that one is a brewery restaurant. Very, very good place. Love that. Homestay Brewing Company, which is just a brewery. They have like food trucks and whatnot, but that's closer to Magic Kingdom. Goodness. What else?
I have a quick question while you're thinking.
Yes.
Where is the Waldorf Astoria Orlando? Is that on Disney property or off?
Oh.
I don't think if that is, because there is a Waldorf like kind of near Golden Oak on property,
right?
But I don't know.
I think that's it. Because there's Bull and Bear restaurant I've seen vlogs on, and I'm dying to eat there.
In that's in the bubble because I think Golden Oak is considered in the bubble. So that
I got really close to leaving the bubble, guys.
Yes, it is in the bubble because it's going towards.
Which I've heard good things about that restaurant as well.
Yes. Yeah. I thought I was leaving the bubble for a second. I guess I'm still a guppy.
We almost had you outside the bubble.
It's at the edge. The bubble.
It's right there. As far out of the bubble or as close to the edge of the bubble as I would ever venture.
But unfortunately, it is because the only way to get to it is inside the bubble.
Yeah, you have to go in the bubble. So
instead of escape from New York, escape from the bubble.
Yeah.
But no direct Disney transportation, right? So you'd have to like Uber it or.
Yes, I guess. Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, since I don't know if you're still thinking, Aaron, but I know like around where you're talking about, I know it's a chain, but I go to Chewy's a lot.
Oh, Chewy. Yes.
Which is like Tex-Mex. And it is a chain, but like they don't have it here. And so like I became addicted to it when I was in the college program. And they have this jalapeno ranch dip. I call it crack. It is crack dip. Like
yum.
You want to pour it on everything.
I used to girl dinner. I would go buy a big tub of it and eat the chips, and that was my girl dinner.
Yep.
Have a beer.
Yep.
Girl dinner.
Yep.
I don't. People are always like, "Oh, it's Tex-Mex. It's not that good." Listen, I'm there. I love Tex-Mex.
It's good.
Yeah.
I say Tex-Mex because some people want like an authentic Mexican meal. That's Tex-Mex, so it's a different kind of thing.
Yeah,
but like
we have Jose Tejas by us here in New Jersey.
Sure, familiar.
Well, Jim. I mean,
is the one near New Brunswick you're talking about, or the different one?
Well, so we have one right by us, and then there's the one by New Brunswick. Yeah, so we go to the one that's local to us. But it's so good, but there's
is good,
the sodium levels are like you're not doing anything else that day.
Yeah.
You go to Jose's house, you eat it, you get all the chips, you eat the food, and then you're done for the day.
It's because all that salt, you're retaining so much
yeah,
fluid.
you got to drink a gallon of water and try to wash it out of your body, but it's delicious.
Goodness.
So, yeah.
Yeah. There's still so much even around this area to do, or like bars, not even really like pure bars, but places that have bars. You can go drink and get like appetizers. I mean, there's a Fat Tuesdays around here. If you don't know what that is, it's like a daiquiri, walk-up daiquiri thing. They have one at City Walk, but there's Margaritaville's right here too. So it's full of a lot of different things to eat. And then of course you have your one or two like only in Florida, but that's not really the case because they might have a location somewhere else that you don't frequent. But yeah, there's a lot of good stuff around here.
And like Margaritaville is off 192, and there's a huge resort. They actually have like homes you can rent.
Yes,
for your trip.
I've seen vlogs on that too.
I want to stay there and just experience that so bad. And then
you could live there.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you could like live like permanently, but like
I think you can.
Oh, okay. Well,
I think they have a section like with townhomes or something, or
I know you can rent those.
Yeah.
So you can also rent those like for your week vacation.
Stan had a meet and greet at Margaritaville one year.
Is that
where that resort is?
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And that's near Animal Kingdom, right, Aaron? That's like right up around behind. Yeah, I know that.
Yeah, 192. And then I've also stayed. There's a timeshare like kind of right across from that, Holiday Inn, Orange Lake, which is the timeshare that I've stayed at. Yeah, it's a beautiful timeshare. It's got a golf course and everything. Like, it's one of the timeshares that's big enough that you have enough to do at that timeshare that you don't have to leave the timeshare. Like, there's restaurants, there's everything. Yeah, you don't have to leave that one unless you want to go leave that one.
Right. Don, you were telling me again before we went live about Crystal Springs, right? This is very, very popular for the glass bottom boats.
Silver Springs.
Springs. I'm sorry.
Before
good place.
Yeah.
Before the air fare become affordable, everyone drove to Disney, and you had all of these roadside attractions that they would as they were leaving Disney would stop and see. Now Silver Springs is over 200 years old, as an attraction. They have glass bottom boats there. There were dozens of movies filmed in Silver Springs.
Yeah.
One of the ones that comes to mind right off the top of my head is Creature from the Black Lagoon. So it is a day trip from Disney. You're gonna it's I think $12 to get in. So you're gonna drive an hour and 45 minutes, 2 hours to get there. They do have it's a state park. And there is a museum there with all the different artifacts that they've been able to pull up out of the springs. And they have a museum there showing you all the different movies that were filmed there. Lloyd Bridges' Sea Hunt was also filmed there. Goldfinger, James Bond movie, was filmed there. And I think one of the, there was from $3 Million Man, one of the episodes was filmed in the Springs.
I'm the $2 man. I can't afford the $3 million. I'm just I'm the $2 guy.
The two.
Yeah, me, I'm just the $40 co-payment guy.
$2.
We can rebuild him. We can make him better than he was. We're gonna have to do it on a budget.
Yeah. It's a lot cheaper though.
I'm sorry, that's not covered.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I've seen a lot of Facebook, TikTok video clips of this, like people going there, Don, and doing that glass boat, and so it is very popular, very pretty as well.
So when they were done filming the Tarzan movies and they had these monkeys, they were like, okay, how much is it going to cost us to send the monkeys back to Hollywood? Okay, how much would it cost to get new monkeys? All right, let the monkeys free.
They just let them free. Now they're at the machine gun place down the road.
Well, no,
That's
Yeah.
why
actually,
it closed.
That's why it closed.
Chimp with a machine gun.
You can't bring those monkeys anywhere.
well, I thought I saw the machine gun place advertising in the NBA experience.
Yeah, that lasted long. That's kind of crazy though. They do. It was just like, let's bring in monkeys and like film a movie and then let them loose.
It was
here.
more
That's
cost
Florida for ya.
effective.
Florida,
More
right?
cost effective to let the monkeys go than to get them, bring them back.
Oh yeah.
Now there's
Now-
over 1,000 monkeys that live. At
Really?
Campbell's. Yeah.
Because of that?
Mhm.
Yeah.
My friend had a
well,
wedding there just to have monkeys around her, but they didn't show up. And the other day they were like,
No?
there was literally 1,000 in this one spot. Like people go have weddings and celebrations there to be around the monkeys, but
The
yeah,
monkeys didn't get their invite to the wedding.
No.
they
that's
didn't.
true.
I was so excited to see them, but
I mean,
There was no charcuterie. They didn't come.
Yeah.
right now it's a state park, a Florida state park.
Hmm.
Prior to it being a Florida state park, they had I don't want to call it a zoo, but they had animal attractions. They also had used to have concerts. Willie Nelson, Loretta Lynn played there.
Oh wow.
They used to have concerts, but now that it's a state park, they got rid of the animals except for the monkeys. And you can't.
The monkeys.
You cannot,
The monkeys played there once.
Yeah, they're still playing there. You can rent kayaks. You can rent canoes. You cannot swim in the. You can't swim in the springs.
Nah, I wouldn't swim in any body of water in Florida.
Yeah,
Other than
that's
Well,
like not
the-
recommended.
right. Yeah.
The springs are so clear. That's why they have the glass bottom boat. You can see
Well, right, yeah.
50 feet into the. You can see 50 feet down to the bottom or 100 feet down to the bottom.
Death is visibly clear 50
Yeah.
feet.
Yeah. Oh, look, there's an alligator coming
Look
from
at the
me.
size of that thing.
Yeah, but it's not going to kill the freshwater bacteria. It's dangerous, which is why you're supposed to
That
stay
too.
out of the.
Oh,
Yeah.
the brain-eating amoeba.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the amoebas.
Because they eat people's brains? Do we need to have another
Because they're
conversation?
really weird. That I've researched a lot about both species of amoeba,
Mm.
Naglieri fowleri and Balamuthia mangillaris.
Mhm.
So
And they're cool.
Well, you'll be
amoebas are
qualified for a
fascinating.
government job once you get one.
Yeah. So, but they are dangerous, but amoebas are very cool. The fact that, how they operate.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to get a brain eating.
No,
amoeba.
do not want one. No, thank you.
No.
That's
Listen,
why we
people
also
traveling.
don't swim in the lagoons at Disney either.
Yeah.
Correct.
Stay out of the lakes.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a
You
lot
know
of
that
things.
ski
in there.
park over by MCO when you're driving on 535, someone died from Naglieri fowleri there.
Really?
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
It's like one of the ski parks that has the things and they pull you
Yeah.
around. They do like event
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, someone got some water up their nose and yikes.
Not worth it.
Nope.
So, obviously the waterways around Walt Disney World have gators, but they also say don't go in the water. And then the rumor was, well, there's amoeba, like flesh-eating amoebas. And then people are like, no, they just say that because they, there's gators and snakes and stuff, but there really is like bacteria.
Yeah, no, it's
Oh,
not. It's not
yes.
the flesh eating. It's the you don't want the water up your nose. You can get the
Well,
brain
that's,
encephalitis stuff.
the water park, the river country. That's when
Right.
Florida passed the law that said, hey, you can only swim in filtered water, and you can't let people be swimming in these natural water. That's what killed river country, because there was no way they could filter that water.
I love the old videos of that. It's before my time going down there, but the
It
video
almost looks like that death park up at Adventure. What was it? Action Park?
Yeah, it has shades of Action Park. I mean, it doesn't conform to current safety standards.
Yeah.
It was kind of cool
Mom,
looking.
look
though.
at me while I swing down this rope, and sorry, Junior, I landed on top of you.
Oh yeah, I've jumped off a cliff at Action Park before when I was a kid, and
Traction Park.
Yeah, exactly. Tom was also telling me earlier too. Where is this the same place, Tom, where you could swim with manatees? Like so?
No.
Okay, good.
All right, so now Ocala is north of me. To the west of me is Crystal River. Now in Crystal River you have Three Sisters Springs, and you have King Bay. Those during the winter are loaded with manatees. Now to get into Three Sisters, you actually have to have a guided tour. You have to have a licensed tour guide to get you into Three Sisters now. But they have these swim with the manatee tours, and they'll take you into the springs. You know, either Three Sisters or the can't remember. I think it's King Springs, and they'll swim with manatees.
That's pretty cool.
Swim. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
would like
before they
that.
outlawed it, and I was able to swim into Three Sisters, and I have some pictures of me on Facebook swimming in the Three Sisters, and I was able to interact with a manatee that come up to me and try and pull my face mask off my face.
Cool.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I guess you're not supposed to touch the manatees, right?
Correct. Yeah. It is illegal.
It is illegal to touch them.
Yes. Nowadays,
it's illegal. It used to be you used to be able to scratch them, but they have a hide like an elephant hide, and they say for them to feel, they would come up to you and want you to scratch them.
Hmm.
But now I don't know what the rules and regulations are now, if you're allowed to touch them or not.
All right, listen, it's illegal to scratch a manatee. People.
FWC will come for you.
FWC. Yeah. Yep. Florida Wildlife Commission.
Yes.
Yep. Now, in that same area in July, you can go out into the Gulf of Mexico scalloping. Now, the way they scallop down here in Florida is completely different than the way we do it up on the East Coast. On the East Coast, you get in a boat in October, you pull a dredge behind you, and you scallop. Down here, you go out about a mile out into the Gulf where the water's about 5 feet deep. The Gulf is very shallow, and you snorkel for the scallops. You swim along the top of the water using your snorkel. When you see a scallop, you dive down and get it. So completely unique experience for me. So.
And then this is a little bit outside of like Orlando, Walt Disney World.
It's a day trip.
It's a whole day trip, right? Yeah.
So you definitely want a car or rent a car. This is not, this is not an Uber friendly excursion.
Right. Yeah. You can't get back in the Uber with your scallops.
No.
Well, you're going to be soaking wet too, so.
Yeah.
That's true.
I don't think that
actually by the time you come in from the Gulf, you usually dried out in July.
I think
unless you get that thunderstorm at 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Christopher Walken's character in Wedding Crashers, he says to Bradley Cooper's character, he said, "I'll listen to your stories about otters and scallops."
That was a good Christopher Walken.
That's not bad. Yeah. I always think of scallops. When I hear scallops, I have to say scallops, like Christopher Walken.
Hey, do we have any motorheads out there?
You mean like the band Motorhead?
Yeah, like drag racing.
Oh, no. I thought you meant like Lemmy, the singer from Motorhead, like Motorhead.
No.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
if you were into high octane drag racing, you may know of the Swamp Rat, Don Garlitz. Now, Don Garlitz's museum is in Ocala. So on the way home or on the way back to Disney from Silver Springs, you can stop at the Don Garlitz Museum. Spend some time in there. I don't think that's a full day museum. I've been there, and you can. He's usually on property, so you get to. There's Don Garlitz. So he's in his 60s, 70s now.
Maybe tie that into one of the other trips I go in that area. I mean, again. And for Disney World, like watching a lot of vlogs, like people doing like Celebration Florida and areas that are close to Walt Disney World, but really cool, like the Christmas lights and stuff like that. And there's such really cool towns, and because it is in a warmer climate, you could do more all year round. So there's a lot to do around there. But I mean, think about, and I have no experience again other than watching videos. But if you think about going to Disneyland Paris, think about the restaurants that would be off of Disney property there, right? Off of Disneyland property, or just going in and seeing, Paris and around that area, and all of the other locations. So maybe it'd be really cool if we can get people on the show that could tell us things to do outside of those parks. You know what I mean? Like somebody who has that perspective that could talk about the other Disney locations.
Talk yet about things to do outside of Disney World, because I mean, like we obviously talked restaurants, but like if you want like something that's like an Uber ride away and not a day trip, there's like, and I feel like there's an endless list. There's always something new opening up. There's always something to do in Orlando. Like driving in, you see the Orlando Eye, which is at Icon Park, and they have a Madame Tussauds, they have a Sea Life Aquarium, and all that, and it's actually right by International Drive, which you've got Ripley's Believe It or Not, Wonderworks. I call it the strip of miniature golf themes. So I mean, there's so much to do in Orlando that's the touristy, kitschy stuff. And then there's also like, I want to do something I can only do in Florida. You can also find that stuff in Orlando too, I feel like. Like one of the things that I've done, like I have a cousin who lives there, so I always try to do something outside of the bubble. Like I don't, unless he wants to meet me at Disney Springs, like we go other places to eat dinner with him. But like one thing that we did was the Harry Leu Leu Gardens a couple, like I don't know how many years ago, and that is a beautiful garden that's got like botanical gardens, got like tropical, obviously because the climate can hold it, but it's great for like bird watching. Like Aaron, have you ever been there, Aaron?
I have not, but I've heard of it.
I do photography like as a hobby, and I've gotten so many great pictures when we went there. So I mean, there's like so much to do just in Orlando. So like if you're flying in and just want to Uber somewhere besides Disney, there's endless choices.
Absolutely. Even good nightlife too.
Well, right.
So I have a question. Morgan, have you ever driven by that gift shop that looks like a wizard?
Oh yeah.
Have you ever wondered what's in that? It's like, gee, I wonder what's in there. I know it's a gift shop, but
it's connected to a Dunkin'.
It's like,
I
wonder what's in that wizard.
I haven't gone in that one. Like I've gone in other ones, and they've got the typical gift shop stuff. So
it's a typical.
You get the knockoff Disney teas that have Mickey and Minnie, but they say Orlando on it instead of Disney World, and magnets and keychains and back. Like I've been in, because I feel like you drive down 192 and there's like, isn't there like there's like a rainforest one, there's the wizard one, there's like all these there's all these different.
There was like a miniature golf that was set up like a gold mine or an old mining town.
And then there's a pirate one.
Just on 192.
How about dinner theater in Orlando?
Wasn't there like a mystery dinner theater?
I went. We went to a pirates dinner there one time.
But
in Orlando, it was a pirate themed dinner.
Up there.
I heard about that.
What's
opening?
Hamburger Mary's.
So there used to be like a murder mystery show called dinner theater show called Capone's that ran for a very long time, but it closed. And Hamburger Mary's took it over. Finally, took a long time.
Hamburger Mary's, this is popular.
Hamburger Mary's is a chain. They have one in Houston, New York, Vegas, here.
I know they used to have one in Tampa. I don't know if it's still there.
Never heard of it.
They probably still do, but it's a drag restaurant, so they do brunches, they do shows, but
cool.
I can't wait for that to open. I was excited to hear about that.
How about medieval time?
That's still open. It's over. It's past where Hamburger Mary's is going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's someplace my wife and I went during our honeymoon 30 years ago.
My grandparents used to take us there almost every summer. I used to go to Disney, and that was one of the places that they took us. So I have pictures of as a kid of me with like my little paper crown and all that. One of these trips, I'm gonna take my boyfriend just because I feel like you got to experience medieval times once.
I've never been to one, and we have one in New Jersey that's not that far away from us. I've never been, but
it's just something fun to experience at least once in your life.
Yeah.
And they used to have Arabian Nights for a long time as well, and that's closed.
And they had some kind of Dollywood country wagon show.
Yeah, something Stampede. Yeah.
Yeah, Dolly Parton Stampede.
Yeah,
cool.
Which they still have a Dollywood Stampede in Pigeon Forge, which is where Dollywood is.
Right.
But it's not in Orlando
anymore.
Which also seems really cool to visit, Dollywood.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's on the list.
Yeah,
it's really
I follow
neat
a lot of Dollywood stuff for my page, and they send me media releases and stuff like that. Like, it's on my list.
Nice.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a ton of stuff to do around all the Disney locations, and I think it's up to me to try to find some folks that maybe live near the other Disney destinations and get some insight, and maybe have some folks on. Or to research and then do like a follow-up to this so we can look into that, but for tonight, go ahead.
I know that was my dad that commented about the Giordano's.
I
do want to mention that place.
Giordano's.
It is a legit Chicago style pizza, from Chicago
in Florida.
In Florida, they have multiple locations in Orlando. Aaron, if you haven't been there yet, you gotta go because I know there's one of you too. Mm-hmm. It legit says on the menu it takes 45 minutes to get their pizza made. So this is not a run in, grab a slice, and leave.
Right.
Because
this is Chicago
deep dish.
Deep dish. Never had a Chicago deep dish. Would like to try it. It does look good to me.
And they're from Chicago, so it's not like we're just gonna
name like Giordano. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, okay, so backstory. The reason why I know they're from Chicago is I have an aunt who has a friend who lived in Chicago and used to get the pizza from this place and would fly it to my aunt, and then they started opening locations in Orlando.
Yeah, I think they're pretty popular. Like if you watch the Food Channel, they talk about Chicago pizza. Don't they mention Giordano's a lot?
Yeah.
Isn't that So.
But oh my God, like if you can finish more than 2 slices of a pizza and not feel stuffed, then more power to you. Like,
it's a whole different animal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So delicious. Now I want.
Of course, for your White Castle fans, the biggest White Castle in the United States is in Orlando.
That's right. That opened about 5 years ago, maybe.
Yeah, I haven't been there yet because.
Yeah.
Well.
Is it longer than? Oh, is that it? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's fairly new, but it's the biggest White Castle and isn't the biggest McDonald's.
Yes,
as well.
It's on our drive.
Right.
It is so much
pasta
fun.
and pizza.
That's right. Yeah. So some different menu items if you want to.
And an aquarium inside.
It's 2 stories.
McDonald's.
Yeah, it's like 150 gallon thing.
There's supposed to be a Buc-ee's opening in Ocala, and it will be the world's biggest Buc-ee's for about half a year until the other one opens up that's bigger than it.
One Buc-ee's to rule the world.
Now, I have to say, as someone who drives to Orlando, you now talk about your road trip pre and post Buc-ee's.
Right.
Yeah.
Because where you stopped, because you had to be careful, because you got to make sure you got the clean bathroom. As a female, it had to be well lit, because I used to drive in the middle of the night. Like I'd leave work, get in my car, drive to Orlando for that 8-9 hour drive. So I have those places on my list, and I still sometimes stop at them because obviously I got to stop more than one place from North Carolina to Orlando. But yeah, there's the pre and the post Buc-ee's time, and man, that's like completely different times, because now you make sure you Okay, I got this much gas, this much time. Can I make it to Buc-ee's?
Yep, absolutely.
Well,
and which Buc-ee's am I stopping at?
Which one? I was at the one in South Carolina. That's south of the border. That's
in North Carolina. There's North Carolina, which I live in Charlotte, which is about 45 minutes from South Carolina border. That's where Jim is too.
Yep.
We don't go near that one. That one's further north than we are. So driving from Charlotte, we actually get on I-95 in South Carolina.
Right.
And so we don't hit a Buc-ee's until St. Augustine, but they are building a Buc-ee's in South Carolina.
Yep.
And I am so excited about that because I remember I've driven by it before they announced it, and I'm like, that is a Buc-ee's. I bet you money. And then
that's funny.
Yeah.
I was right.
Yeah, I'm south of the city, Morgan. So I mean, South Carolina for me is like two miles across the road. I pop over. So we pop over and back roads to 77, and then I just shoot down to Columbia and then across and then up to 95, and it's a pretty straight shot. But it's like Georgia Welcome Center, great stop. South Carolina Welcome Center, not so much.
No.
Coming north, you're like, oh, that's really not really well maintained.
Yeah.
And the Florida Welcome Center, when you first cross over the border, can be really sketchy.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really sketchy.
I'll share my list with you, Jim. Since you're new to North Carolina, I'll share my list so you know where to stop before Buc-ee's.
Yeah, no, I've got good one too. I love it though. Yeah, thank you.
Next time I'm visiting my brother-in-law in South Carolina, he's like 45 minutes from Charlotte.
Yeah, but the Buc-ee's are great, and the kids are like, "Are we doing the North Buc-ee's, or are we going down to Daytona?" I'm like, "Oh, it depends where we are on the trip."
I always do the Daytona Buc-ee's because of the St. Augustine one. Sometimes it's hard to get out with that parking lot.
That parking lot's crazy. Yeah.
And I've also noticed the gas was more expensive at the St. Augustine one.
Yeah.
So if I can hold it, I bypass the St. Augustine and go straight to the Daytona one.
Yeah, we've pushed for Daytona, but I mean they're both good, and then they're both well maintained. You get to get the insane people that decide to leave their car at the gas pump and go in. It's like I want to tow them out myself. People just abandon their car and go, I'm just going to leave it in because there's no parking.
I'll be in the store for a half hour.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous. It's insane.
I mean, they have a wall of jerky. It's like I don't know what to get. There's too much jerky.
Jerky's good.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, why should I get jerky when I can go over here and get a pulled pork sandwich? They're pulling the pork right there.
Yeah. So you get the brisket the warm stuff now for your road trip. You get the jerky for when you're there and you need some snacks in the park.
Yeah.
That's how I do it.
Brisket's amazing. Our other car snack is the roasted pecans, and just the warm nuts are just so amazing at a Buc-ee's.
I'm not a fan of pecans, but I have a friend who lives in Ocala. So every time I drive down, I'm like, okay, text me your Buc-ee's order, and it's always the pecans and turkey jerky.
So you know about the Buc-ee's that's going to open in Ocala.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's right by the interstate. If you don't, and that's there's a Lowe's up by the interstate. There's a Cracker Barrel by the interstate. Everything's there.
Yeah.
We should remind anybody watching or listening when we put this out as a podcast, or if you rewatch, we want to know, number one, when you go to a Disney destination, do you stay only in that Disney bubble area or do you venture out? And number two, now, what we should also ask you is, if you're driving into a Disney destination and there's a Buc-ee's on the way, do you make a plan to stop?
Yeah.
So let us know in the comments. And
welcome to Buc-ee's Night Live.
Right, exactly.
That's next week's episode, all about Buc-ee's.
Yeah. Somebody, I'm not going to mention their name on YouTube, wants to know, what's your opinion on SpongeBob SquarePants? Good. I like SpongeBob SquarePants. Kind of funny.
Never
He's going to be my neighbor.
SpongeBob is?
Across the highway, they're building the Nickelodeon resort.
Oh, nice.
So literally,
you can just wave to Sponge.
I can, yeah.
Yeah. Sandy the squirrel.
I'm too old for SpongeBob.
Well, That's what we got for you tonight on Disney Night Live. We want to, as always, thank you for spending some of your Saturday evening with us and talking some just Disney, stuff. I, as always, want to thank all of my co-hosts. I've got Jim, I've got Morgan, I've got Aaron, I got Disney, Don, Morgan's from Dream Finding, Parks, Animal Kingdom, Aaron, Jim. Jim, you're in a band. What's the name of the band?
So I'm playing with Alex Giancula and the Watchmen, and also Rich and Single in various places in the Charlotte area.
In the Charlotte area. So, hey, if you can go check them out in the Charlotte area, you should do so. That would be pretty awesome. And then when you're there, be like, Freebird. Just yell Freebird for some reason.
Yes, our lead singer would love if you did that.
Yeah, please. Other than that, we'll be back next Saturday with some sort of Disney topic. I'm not sure what it's going to be yet. It's week to week here, folks. We just make them up as we go. But, we hope you have them. It won't be Buc-ee's, but maybe eventually we'll get
we'll
to
have to have the
episode.
Great Disney coffee debate.
That as well. Yeah, I do like coffee. So we could talk about that offline. Possible future topics. But for now, we have our outro. I want to thank everybody. Again, have a great rest of your weekend. Stay healthy, stay happy, and we'll see you next Saturday.